When I think about how the Chinese came and just settled in the Delta from Memphis to Vicksburg, I mean, just look at it. It really filled a particular need because nobody else wanted to do it.
These stores played a uniquely important role in the segregated South, serving the black community when the white community wouldn't. And this was significant because it meant more than 70% of the population got their groceries and everyday goods from a tiny Chinese community. Freda's family store in Min Sang started out in the 1930s as two different buildings across the street from each other, one serving black people, the other serving white people. Neither black nor white, the Chinese community found themselves in the middle.
It was like a 3-lane road. There were the whites and the blacks and the Chinese. We all stayed in our lanes and we were fine until we crossed over.
The Chinese grocers depended on the black community for business and also served them in very practical ways.
It's funny because there is literally a scene. This is one of the nuggets that Coogler put into the film, where he literally had a scene where Grace and her husband Bo, they owned a business and they owned 2 shops, and they were literally across the street from each other. And I remember I pointed this out to my wife, where, you know, Grace was in the shop where the white people were, and Bo was in the shop where the black people were. And they had to like switch up and cross the street. It's crazy. But again, that's one of the nuggets and one of the great things about the film. Next one.
I cannot believe this scene was almost cut from Sinners. Spoiler alert for those who have not seen Sinners, but this particular scene was so impactful to me personally, I need to talk about it. So there's a scene where Stack, Sammy, and Delta Slim are riding in the car. The conversation comes up about a friend of Slim's that was brutally lynched. Slim, played by Delroy Lindo, is telling this story, and you could see the weight of this horrific story on his physical countenance. You could hear him getting choked up in his throat. But he does something very, very interesting and really, really cultural at this particular part. Rather than crying outright, which he had every bit of room to do, he starts to pat his leg. And that pat, to try to get the aggression that he feels from the overwhelm of emotions about his friend's violent end, becomes a beat. And then a moan rises up from his belly. That moan becomes a song.